Psalm 42, verses 1 through 4 says, "As a deer pants for water brooks, so my soul pants for you, O God. My soul thirsts for you, God, for the living God. When shall I come and appear before God? My tears have been my food day and night, and while they say to me all day long, 'Where is your God?' These things I remember, and I pour out my soul within me. For I used to go along with a throng and lead them in the procession to the house of God with the voice of joy and thanksgiving, a multitude keeping festival." Well, if you're joining us in reading through the 6-month reading plan through the book of Psalms, today's reading is Psalm 42 and 43, and I encourage you to read those Psalms. Sometimes in our walk with God, we struggle by thinking that He has left us in the middle of some terrible situation. This causes us to become depressed, and we begin to ask questions about why He has left us. I remember a video, now I don't remember where I saw it, but it was a short story about a young girl who was a runner. She used to run regularly with her father, and as the story continued, she began to lose her eyesight, and then she couldn't see her father at all. But she continued to run, even though she was completely blind. At one point in the video, the focus was changed from her to a much wider view of what was really going on. Her father was still running with her. He was guiding her around various pitfalls that would show up in her path. He was still with her, still protecting her, even though she could not see him and longed for his presence. Now, this is exactly what we sometimes go through in our walk with Christ. There are times when we feel that His presence, and we joyfully, maybe even giddily walk with and run with Him. We feel completely consumed by His presence, and our lives are full and meaningful. But then come the struggles. And struggles come in all forms. We are stricken with a disease. We may lose a loved one. We may suffer financial loss, and the list may go on. It is in these times when we struggle with our walk with Christ. It is in these times when we question where He is. It is these times when our soul thirsts for God and we pant as if we're out of breath. Now, at the end of the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus is speaking with His disciples, and He tells them that even though He is leaving, He will be with them forever. And how can that be? How can we be gone and yet with us? And how can we not see Him and yet be filled with Him? Well, there are 3 ways in which God will help us to be filled. The first way is that we are filled with His Spirit. He's always with us. Secondly, we have access to His Word. And in this access, we can find the mind of God. And finally, we have those who are fellow believers who can raise us up not only in prayer, but also physically and spiritually. Now, if we have a relationship with Christ, God never leads us. He sometimes desires that we learn to lean on Him and trust Him more by allowing us to struggle. And if you would like a PDF copy of this entire reading plan, please send an email to phineasjacobus@runningtohim.net.